Hello dear students. As you all know, we are doing chapter number 2, electrostatic potential and capacitance. Yesterday, means in the last lecture, I have given you a basic idea of what is a capacitor. Today we will start with the same, okay, and then we will proceed with the capacitor. Yesterday we talked about capacitance, right? Capacitance. What is capacitance? That I have told you. The capacity, the ability of conductor to hold a charge, is called its capacitance. And when we suppose it is a conductor, okay, it is spherical, we are giving it to the charge, then what happens? Its potential increases. We are giving the charge, all the charges are there on its surface only, no charges inside, and when you give the charge, then what happens? Its potential increases. How much charge we are giving, we cannot see that because we cannot see the charges, but anyhow we can measure the potential. How we can? We'll measure. We connect a potential voltmeter over here, and the last one is other end of the potentiometer will be earth. Then the potential difference between this and the earth we can measure. What we see, the amount of charge we are giving to it, its potential increases, keeps on increasing. Is it clear? So, if we give the charge, this sphere holds the charge, and because of it, its potential increases. Is it clear? Now, what we observe that after a certain time when this sphere holds a charge, then what happens? Its electric field will also increase, and because of its electric field, the molecules of surrounding air molecules. Now air molecules will have plus or minus. Then what happens? This electric field becomes so strong that it starts attracting the negative of the atom of the molecule, which is present in the surrounding medium. And now what happens? If one plus charge we give it to it, then what happens? Here one negative charge comes to it, and here one plus charges become free. One plus charge we give it to it, then what happens? One negative charge is attracted by the positive, and one plus charge is free in the air. Then what we see that this sphere is leaking the charge now. One plus charge we give it to it, one plus charge we get in air. Another plus charge we give it to it, another plus charge we get in air. So what we say? We say that this sphere is leaking charges. This is called charge leakage. This is called charge leakage. Right? Okay. Now, before that, we give the charge, and this sphere holds the charge. So when charge is given, its potential increases, and what we say? That charge given to it is directly proportional to its potential, and then we apply a constant, that is just C, and C is equal to what? Q upon V. That very C is called what? Capacitance. That C is called capacitance. Basically, charge per unit volt. To increase the potential by 1 volt, how much charge is required? That very charge is called its capacitance. Is it clear? To increase the potential by 1 volt, how much charge is required? That very charge is called its capacitance. And basically this conductor is called a capacitor. Is it clear? Let me repeat once again. To increase the potential by 1 volt, how much Q is required? That is called capacitance. Okay. Now why we need this? Actually, we want to store energy in different forms. When we talk about electric circuits, the DC circuits, or in electrical engineering, if you opt in BTech, then you'll study this capacitance throughout your engineering. The storing of energy is a concern for us, and what we do, we make such devices which can store energy, and capacitor is one of them. But supplying energy of the capacitor is a bit different from other. Capacitor stores the energy and it supplies in the circuit whenever required, but it supplies at once. There is no rate of energy supplied. it supplies all the energy stored at once. Is it clear? Okay, yesterday I was telling you also that in LED flashlights of camera it is being used, in fan, in motor it is being used. Why is it so? Because starting the motion of coil in the motor is a very difficult task. It requires lot of current, and for that lot of current we fit this capacitor. The modified version is called condenser. Okay, that condenser, what it does, it supplies the energy at once, which starts the motion. Same in DSLR cameras or LED flash camera light, what happens when you click the button, then capacitor, which is already there, it supplies the energy at once and we get a very bright light. Is it clear? So this is what a capacitor is. We talked about its unit also. Its formula is Q upon V. So its unit is Coulomb per volt, or I have told you that its unit is Farad, denoted by capital F. We talked about its dimension also. Okay. Now let us move ahead. These all the things we have done earlier only. Okay. Now let us move ahead. Let us move to next topic, or read know more about the capacitance. Next topic is capacitance of an isolated sphere. Capacitance of an isolated sphere. Now suppose one sphere is there. Okay. Let the radius of the sphere be capital R. And suppose it is given a charge, and that charge is there on its surface. Okay. We given a charge Q, and because of Q, its potential is V. Now we know that potential due to a charge sphere at its surface is given by V is equal to KQ by R, and we know that capacitance is given by Q by V. When we put the value of V over here, we get Q upon KQ upon R. Q and Q will be cancelled out. Capacitance is R upon K. K is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. So what we can write? We can write that implies that C is equal to 4 pi epsilon naught R. 4 pi epsilon naught R. Is it clear? So this is what the capacitance of a isolated conductor. Okay. Now, as we can see, the capacitance depends upon the radius. 4 pi epsilon naught, it is for the medium which is surrounded. The capacitance depends on the medium. Okay, capacitance also depends on the medium. We are talking about an isolated sphere. So basically, if the sphere changes, if its shape is something else, then we can say that capacitance depends on the shape and size of the conductor. Moreover, capacitance depends upon the medium also, the medium in which the conductor is kept. Is it clear? One very important thing you can see from here, that capacitance does not depend upon the charge, what the charge it holds, and it does not depend upon the voltage. In this formula, no charge is there, no voltage is there. So what we can say from here, we can say that the capacitance does not depend upon the charge and does not depend on its potential. Actually, it depends upon the ratio of charge to potential. What I am trying to tell, just see, suppose one conductor is there. It holds the charge 5 coulomb, and one capacitor is there. It holds the charge 10 coulomb. If I ask you whose capacitance is greater, so one idea might be there in your mind that 10 coulomb is a greater capacitance because it holds larger charge. But actually I have not told you the potential. If its potential is 1 volt and its potential is 10 volt, then 5 volt, make it 5. Then its capacitance is 5 farad, 5 upon 1. its capacitance 10 upon 5, 2 farad only. What amount of charge the capacitor hold, it doesn't matter. What amount of potential, if we ignore the charge, then what about the potential it holds, it doesn't matter. It is what? It is the ratio of charge to potential. As the definition I have told you, to increase the potential by 1 volt, how much charge is required, that is called capacitance. Is it clear? So by looking at the conductor or by knowing the amount of charge it holds, we cannot say that the capacitance is greater or smaller. One more thing. Suppose I want to make a capacitor which is of 1 farad. Then for that, the value of R comes out to be C upon 4 pi epsilon naught. The value of C is 1. 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is what? 9 into 10 to the power 9 meter. The radius of the sphere required for that purpose is 9 into 10 to the power 9 meter, which is very, very greater than the size of Earth. The size of Earth, the radius of Earth, we write 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 meter. This is what it is, the radius of Earth. And the size of sphere we got from here, it is 9 into 10 to the power 9 meter, which is very, very greater than the radius of Earth. Means the sphere required for this purpose will have the radius of this much, which is nearly impossible. So from here we conclude that 1 farad is a very, very large unit, and because of that we use smaller units in our practicals, okay, in our practical life. And those smaller units are picofarad, nanofarad, microfarad, millifarad. What are those? 1 picofarad is what? 10 to the power minus 12 farad. 1 nanofarad, 10 to the power minus 9 farad. 1 microfarad, 10 to the power minus 6 farad. 1 millifarad, 10 to the power minus 3 farad. You will see all these units in your books only. You will not see a capacitor of 2 farad. You will always see one capacitor of 2 microfarad, 2 nanofarad, 2 picofarad, like that. Is it clear? So this is what the capacitor, the capacitance of an isolated conductor. Now what is our concern? Our concern to store the energy. Okay? And for storing energy, we need capacitors of larger capacitance. Right? Then what we can do? Just see, capacitance is equal to what? Q upon V. Capacitance is equal to Q upon V. If you want to make of capacitor of greater capacitance, then what we can do? We can do two things. We can keep the charge constant and we can decrease the potential. What we can do? Keeping Q constant, we can decrease the potential. Or keeping V constant, we can increase the voltage. We can increase the charge. Okay? If we keep Q constant, then V has to be decreased. If we keep V constant, then Q has to be increased. If we go by the second method, then we cannot do this, because whenever you give the charge, its potential will increase. We cannot have a method in which a charge is given to a conductor and potential remains constant. Okay? So we'll go by the first. We keep the charge same, but we can decrease the potential. How we can? Earlier, the idea was like, suppose one conductor is there, then what we do, we'll put a neutral conductor nearby it. Okay? We'll put a neutral conductor. Okay? No charge, no excess charge on the conductor. Then what will happen? Due to this plus charge, minus charge will be induced on this surface and plus charge will be induced here. Okay? Now if we see the potential, its potential, so due to presence of these negative charge, its potential decreases. Okay? And when potential decreases, capacitance increases. Now one more idea come into mind. If we need only negative charge, Then why to put a neutral conductor? Put a negative charge conductor. Okay, suppose one positive charge sphere is there and we put a negative charge sphere nearby it. Then what happens? Now the potential on this, because of the potential of this one, it's positive V plus, and its potential is V negative. Then what we are going to do? We are going to write the capacitance like Q, whatever charge it holds, upon, now the potential will be V plus minus V minus. Potential difference between these two. Because its potential due to here, suppose it is V minus. Then what we are going to, the total potential will be what? V plus minus V minus. So now that potential difference what? Decreases. Potential decreases. And because of this, capacitance increases. From here, the idea of parallel plate capacitors come into mind. What we do? We use two plates. And we connect them by battery. Okay? Either we do this or we do this. One plate of the capacitor is connected to positive and another plate is connected to earth. We do this. Right? So because of it, what happens now? Due to this positive plate, this plate of the capacitor becomes positively charged. This is negative charge, and all the positive charge will come into negative terminal. Is that clear? So now the potential difference between the plates, because of the presence of negative charge, increases. And when potential difference decreases, and because of this, capacitance increases. Here also the same thing happens. This is positive and this is negative. All the positive charges from this side, they go to the earth. Is it clear? So this is how the idea of parallel plate capacitor is there. And now our next topic is that only. What is a parallel plate capacitor? Parallel plate capacitor. Parallel plate capacitor. Okay. So as I have told you, two plates are there. Okay. They are connected by a battery for resistance. This resistance is actually the resistance of connecting wires. Okay, suppose this cell is a voltage V. Now what happens? Positive charge starts flowing from here. This plate stores the positive. Because of the induction of this one, here develops the negative charge. And positive charge of this side comes to this end. Right? So this is how the capacitor develops the potential. Is it clear? Now, just try to understand. There is no conduction between this plate and this plate. This medium is insulator. This medium is insulator, right? Okay? So if this medium is insulator, then what happens? The charge starts developing on the capacitor. If this resistor is not there, if it is a wire only, wire is made of suppose 0 resistance, then what happens? This voltage of the cell, when the charge starts increasing on the plates, potential difference between them starts increasing. After a certain time, till the point its potential difference becomes V, the charge are getting transferred only. Is it clear? So charge will be transferred until the potential difference between the plates will become V. Suppose a resistor R is there, then what will happen? Then also, till the potential difference between the charges between the plates becomes V, charges are getting transferred and they will store on the plates. So basically the potential difference between the plates will be equal to the potential difference between the plates of the battery, then only the flow of charges stops. And now no current is flowing in the wires. till this point. Now suppose the plate separation is D and each plate is of area capital A. Plate separation is D. Now I want to calculate the potential difference. How we can? The potential difference will be electric field into distance. From the formula, just we have studied in this electric field into dr. So here potential difference is equal to electric field multiplied by distance. Electric field multiplied by distance. The value of electric field between two plates will be sigma upon epsilon naught into d. Sigma is what? Charge density. So we can write Q upon A into epsilon naught into d. This is the value of V. Okay. Now value of V we got. So capacitance is equal to what? Q upon V. Capacitance is equal to Q upon V. Put the value of V now. So it will be Q upon, in place of V, it is Q upon A epsilon naught into what? D. Q and Q will be cancelled out and capacitance comes out to be A epsilon naught upon D. From here what we can conclude? We can conclude that capacitance depends upon area. Capacitance depends upon 1 upon D. Okay? That is, when the plate area increases, capacitance increases. When the plate separation decreases, because it is inversely proportional, then capacitance increases. One more thing is there. Capacitance also depends upon medium between plates. Medium between plates. How we can say that? As you can see, C is proportional to epsilon naught also. Here no medium is there. That's why it is epsilon naught. Suppose if the capacitor is filled with a dielectric, if the capacitor is filled with a dielectric, then capacitor is filled with a dielectric, then what will happen? Then instead of epsilon naught, we are going to have C dash is equal to A K epsilon naught upon D, where K is what? K is the dielectric constant. From where this formula comes, as you can remember in the first chapter we studied that dielectric constant of a medium is permittivity of the medium to the permittivity of free space. So from here permittivity of the medium is what? K into epsilon naught. So instead of epsilon naught, which is permittivity of free space, we need to put epsilon naught of permittivity of the medium, which can be equal to K into epsilon naught. What we can write now from here? We can write A epsilon naught by D into what? K, and which is what? C. So basically C dash is equal to what? C into K, or K into C we should write K into C. So capacitance with the dielectric slab constant which is filled between the plates, and multiply the capacitance without the slab. From here K is equal to what? Capacitance with the dielectric slab upon capacitance without the dielectric slab. From here we can also define the dielectric constant. Is it clear? Now the dielectric constant is always greater than 1 for insulators. Is it clear? Dielectric constant for insulators, it is always greater than 1, and because of this capacitance increases. Capacitance increases, right? K is equal to C dash upon C. The dielectric constant of a medium is defined as the capacitance with that dielectric medium between the plates to the dielectric capacitance without the dielectric slab. So this is how the capacitance of parallel plate capacitor is being calculated. Is it clear? Okay, let us move to the next. Let us move to the next topic, which is for the capacitor is used, and that is energy. What amount of energy a capacitor holds and how it holds the energy, let us see that also. Okay. Energy of capacitor, and basically now we are talking about the parallel plate capacitor, but it can be used for any of the capacitor. Suppose these are the two plates. Okay, these are the two plates. One plate is positively charged, another plate is negatively charged. and it is earth. Okay. Now what happens? Now what I want to do, I want to store more amount of charge into it. Is it clear? Let me make the complete circuit. Okay, I want to store more amount of charge to it. Then what I have to do? Suppose it has the potential V. Potential is what? V, potential difference between the plates is V, and it has the charge Q. Okay. What I want to do? I want to make this capacitor having more charge. Suppose one positive charge is moving from the battery. One positive charge is moving from the battery. Then these positive charge will repel this positive. Then what will happen? Instead of repulsion, this positive charge go and is stored in the plate. So for doing this, for overcoming repulsion, this positive charge needs some amount of energy. And from where that energy is being supplied? From the cell. So now the energy is being supplied from the cell, stores in the form, since work is done on the system of capacitor, and therefore the work is done on the system, therefore this system will stores energy the same amount of work. Is it clear? For storing this plus charge to the positive plate, what will happen? What will happen? This positive charge will face repulsion, and by overcoming the repulsion, it has to do work done on the system. It has to do work done on the system, and that work done will be stored in the form of potential energy. Suppose if we increase charge by dq, then potential increases by dV. Okay, then what we can write? Okay, if we increase the charge by Q, whatever the amount of charge given to it, then potential increases by V. If we give the charge Q, then potential increases by V. Then work done in the process is given by work done will be equal to Q dV integration V increases from 0 to V. Okay, what the amount of charge we have stored, that is Q. Q into dV will do work done. How it will be? From the definition of potential, it is Q V is equal to W by Q. It will be W is equal to what? Q into V. Since potential increases as per the charge, but it is not linearly increases, that's why we integrate from 0 to V. Now in place of Q we can write CV, so it will become 0 to V, CV dV. C is constant, it will come out. Integration of V, it will become V square by 2. Limit will go from 0 to V. So W is equal to what? CV square by 2. If W is equal to CV square by 2, this is what the potential energy is, because this is the work done and this will store in the form of potential energy. So potential energy will be half CV square. This is the energy stored by a capacitor. Moreover, in place of V, if you can write Q upon C, then U will be equal to 1 by 2 Q square upon C square. It will become Q square upon C. 1 C will be cancelled out. In place of C, if you write Q upon V, then what will happen? U is equal to, you can write Q into V, because 1 V is cancelled. So these are the three formulas which gives us the energy stored by a capacitor. As you can see, energy is directly proportional to the capacitance for constant voltage. Okay, so as the capacitance increases for the same voltage, if two conductors are there, both are kept on the same potential, then capacitance, the conductor which has greater capacitance will have greater energy, and that's why there is a need of increasing capacitance, and that's where the idea of parallel plate capacitor is there. Is it clear? So these are the three formulas. Wherever we require the formula, we'll put the values and get the result. Okay, let us hold here. Okay, the notes for the last lecture, that is the lecture number 5, and this is your lecture number 6, is given in the description link of this lecture only. Okay, lecture number 5 notes is given in the lecture number 6 notes, because whole things are very connected to each other, so I have not put them separate from each other. Is it clear? So this is all for the day. Tomorrow we will study combination of capacitors, series combination and parallel combination, and then after we will study redistribution of energy, and then capacitor filled with a dielectric slab partially, and then I think the chapter ends over here. So probably I'll need 4 or 5 lectures more to complete this chapter. This is all for the day. Thank you.